All so that we can share the link later, especially for those who were not here. All right. So for in digital marketing, there are two key areas, and we're going a bit professional using those languages. There is something we call the outbound marketing, and then there's the inbound marketing. It's not because we just want to use languages. It's like a way of categorizing how you speak and what you do. Some communication are basically to push information out there, while some is to attract. And you know for a fact that this is a second level of information. And I will go a bit more. When you talk about outbound marketing, you are talking about what do your customers, let your customers know, let your customers just be aware. Not even only your customers, let the whole world, depending on how far your budget can carry you. And then when they get aware, they probably will put you in their bouquet of consideration. And when they now want a specific, when they want to now take the decision, which is now where the pull, where the inbound is, they know where to go, they know who to talk to. It's so important to, in creating strategies that relate to inbound and outbound, you need to understand who your customer is and how they reason and what can be done, which is an important template that we'll be leaving us with today, so that we can try to populate what our buyer persona or our target persona is, what they do, how they reason, so that it guides and guides our decision making. When we're talking about understanding the mindset of our customers, we are talking, people might just simply ignore outbound communication. That's social media. You push information out there, you scroll past it, you just keep scrolling past it. You don't really, if you need it, you check. If you don't really need it, you move past it. But when it comes to inbound, which is like SEO, people actively search what they need. That is the difference. When you want to do, when you want to buy something, you search. For example, Temu. For those who have bought something on Temu, and even the practice had been before Temu. But what has happened is they've brought on your timeline what has interested you, maybe in the past, or you have filled there. However, if you by any chance now search for something that relates to what Temu sells, they will bring many more varieties for you. When you now go ahead to click and you get into what they call the lead magnets, or you fill a form or something, emails that relate to it. I'm sure a lot of people that have bought something on Temu, I'm a bit of his old school, so I did not buy. It was beginning to get on my nerves. I didn't buy, but a lot of people that have the experience, when they buy on Temu, you practically get emails I don't know if there's anybody that has the experience, but I have had people share that, oh, Temu can be something else. The aggressive nature of the sales has helped, because the numbers that they recorded that was sold in Nigeria, among other things, the campaigns they've done has been extremely successful, but they deploy a lot of aggressive marketing. And they capitalize on the fact that once you show an area of interest, which is why they first throw it out there, then was something attracts you and you get in it, they now begin to make their conversations and their communication for you. So that's how outbound and inbound work together. You first throw your information out there, ensure that people see, but you also know it's like a filter, which we will consider later. There is everybody knows, then they begin to drill it down. And for those who are coming to you, you must be able to engage them, to be able to convert them, to the point of becoming customers. That's the way that it goes. Like I had said, outbound channels drive awareness. Inbound channels, they drive sales and leads, and of course, valuable customers. The most valuable customer is not the one that just buys, but also recommends. Every customer, every brand is looking for brands that will, customers that will recommend them to other people. So loyal customers are they're precious gems that every brand wants to have in their space, and that is how it works. On digital platforms, we have three categories of media, and this is important for a number of people to know. There is the, please just a second, 1 minute. Sorry. I'm sharing my screen again. Because I hope you can see my screen. I'm back sharing.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, great. So there are three media, digital media considered sort of. There is the one that you own, which is where you have direct control. We call it owned media. All your blogs, your social media platform, your everything. Then there is the one that you pay for. You run your ads. They show on other people's timeline. You run on, you target people. That's paid media, you know. And then there's earned media. Earned media is when somebody recommends you, or when somebody mentions you or gives you a review, you know, without paying for it. So let's give an example. Can somebody remind us what happened with, let's see, I think it was Davido and his charity, there was something that was called earned media that happened during that period. Can somebody give us an idea so that I will know if we understand this particular side of the business? Are we together? Can somebody give us an idea? I want us to give a real life example of earned media. And I want someone to give us an example of what happened when Davido wanted to do charity in his birthday. There was a particular brand that came up and earned a lot of free media.
I don't know if it was Wema Bank. It was a particular bank.
You're correct, Favor. Very correct. It was Wema Bank. Thank you. It was a lot, you know. And what did he do? He just said people should pay into, it could have been any bank. And it didn't look like, because it was a charity thing, maybe it was one of his smallest bank accounts. For people to have access to Davido's public account was a big deal. So Alert got a whole lot of, it's called earned media that period. So imagine if let's talk about the people who are in the energy sector in here, and you just have, I think IBB just launched his book, right? Which day? Was it on Monday or Tuesday? Can anybody remind me when IBB launched his book or something? It was this week. Anybody? There was a book launch this week that most people were there.
I did not. Oh, sorry, I did not get that.
IBB Ibrahim Babangida did a book launch this week. That big men were there. Anybody? Who can remember the day, when it was launched? Hi, people. Andrew, do you want to help us? Ahmed, Blessing, you're all here. Are you aware that Babangida just launched a book? Hello.
It was on Tuesday.
It was on Tuesday. Thank you. So, I mean, it was a collection of big men. I mean, using the context. Now, imagine on such a platform, we then hear the MC or even one of the men say, oh, if not for, we would not have had electricity in this location or in my location, all thanks to, or energy, or just referred in passing or deliberately to our organization, a stratagem, or I think Glafiza, you know, when brands like that are mentioned by people that are renowned, it goes way beyond expectation. And so those are what we called earned media, because they are not paid for. And many people, many at times, even user-generated content, when people who use the brand mention the brand positively, and they can now recommend it that, oh, any day, anytime, I will recommend this brand. Those are highly cherished brands in its real life. It can be because of the experience they are making them have without necessarily paying. Many at times when you do engagement. So recently, NNPC, I don't know if any of us saw NNPC during NYSC, sorry, during Valentine, they did roadshow, you know, for people using their filling station. It was quite interesting because NYSC is not known. Why am I saying NYSC? NNPC. NNPC is not known to be doing customer engagement at all. But life has taught us, now that they have direct competition, they actually went to do roadshow on Valentine's Day. They went into their filling station and they were giving out gifts. They were giving out gifts and they were saying, oh, thank you for patronizing us. And NNPC used to be the biggest. They didn't even used to have our time in those days when fuel was not the same rates, or they didn't have this strong competition. So when they record what customers say about them, oh, NNPC filling station, they're always good, their price is good, their fuel, their their gauge is correct, and all those things, they can play it up, they can sell it, because they did not pay those customers to talk about it. And you really never know how far those things will go. So we always look at, as practitioners, we always look at earned media as a very strong media, as a very strong platform to strengthen the brand beyond paid media. This is the buyer's journey that I was talking about: awareness, interest, consideration, conversion, and retention. Most times, we start out, this is outbound. You start out with everybody, let everybody know, let them be aware, you know. And when they become aware of their problems, they are looking for solution. They also will, as a customer, when you want to get something, at that point, you know that you want to solve a problem. Of course, we would then, as a provider of service, you would then be in that space. But as a buyer, for example, you want to make a trip abroad. That point is where you now begin to think, oh, which ticket am I going to buy? Which airline? But if you're not even thinking of traveling, you will not be thinking of going and be looking for airline tickets. How do they even relate? So if you are thinking energy, there must be a reason why you are beginning to think about it and trying to solve it. So at that point, when people begin to get the interest, brands must be in their space. Brands must be in their space. Then the consumer moves to the next level of, okay, when you begin to look for how to solve your problem, one thing is to be aware that you want to solve this problem. Oh, I'm looking for a house. I'm looking for accommodation, or I will soon be looking for accommodation. Since you want to start looking for accommodation, that's when you likely begin to look for caretakers or agents, like we call them, or even platforms that make accommodation available. You begin to look for them. That is where interest lies, and you are beginning to have your journey. But if you're not looking for accommodation, it really doesn't matter to you, or you want to buy real estate, the starting point is there before you now begin to drill down to. So every customer has his journey, and it doesn't mean that one because I'm thinking in this, like in this area today, I'm not thinking in that area, because it's the same day as I'm thinking of buying a property, I'm thinking of traveling, I'm thinking of school, my kids going to starting school, kindergarten, I'm thinking of buying a fridge in my current. So everything is happening simultaneously. It just depends on the priority of the buyer at that point in time. Then they move to which brands are they going to consider. You know, that's the consideration stage. So we have the awareness stage, we have the interest stage, we have the consideration stage. And when they begin to get to the consideration stage, many brands are not there, because when they are really actively thinking of which brands to considering the brands to go with, if you don't put yourself out there, or they've not experienced you before, they are not likely to take a decision that will favor you, that will make you be in their space. They may just go for other brands. So it's important to be present where your competition too is present, where you understand the thinking, the mindset of the customers. Conversion is the biggest stage. You want every step of the way. You want the brand, you want the person to take a decision to buy from you. This is the period, this is the point where the customer actually makes the purchase. And out of everybody, you want them to take the decision to buy from you. As simple as shoes, as big as energy, as installations, cars, whatever, depending on who it is, we need to be there at the point of conversion, that they are able to be motivated enough, because they would have done the research. And in situations like this, like we said, earned media come into play, customer reviews come into play, even your ads will come into play. The kind of information they get from you will come into play, so that they take the right decision and they can convert. It could even be the after sales service that is promised. Of course, price has a lot, but beyond pricing, many a times customer service does a lot of it motivates the customer to take the decision that they want to buy. And then finally, retention. Retention is so important, to have customers who will either buy from you again or recommend you. When they are satisfied, the way small brands, let me use small brands, or those ones that don't require very large capital outlay to buy, is something they call loyalty program, because that's the way to keep them. So, oh, you bought before, get this token, get this tickets, buy at 50% discount. So that makes the customer keep coming back. And that's also where you see some brands that will say, use this code. Because when you give someone a code, you are saying that you will get a discount of so and so. So a lot of times influencers give out their codes, showing them that they are helping the particular brand to bring in customers. They are helping particular brands to bring in customers. If you did not use the code, you may not get the discount. And this has happened a lot for those who use Uber, Bolt, and all that, or even some of the apps that we use. When you open the app, and you will be given a code so that when you recommend other people, it can give you some tokens, it can give you some additional benefits. That is a way of extending your use of the platform. So we, as brands, we need to think in all these stages. We need to think as much as possible, because one person can be an inroad into so many other sales. For the customer journey, the buyer's journey, this is the way, we can say this is the way in which communication helps in their process. So from awareness to end, you have to put out information, which is where content marketing is. You cannot keep your information to yourself and expect people to know about you. So you have to design information that is relevant to your customer after knowing them well. You have to do communication, video display, which is like billboards, social media marketing. The easiest access to many people, especially the young audience, is social media. So you have to be present. At some point, you will do paid search, and paid search is either Google search or social media platforms that you are running ads. You also have to do search engine optimization. That's important. Not necessarily late in the day, but search engine optimization is important, which is, like I said before, using the right keywords, using the right tags, meta descriptions, and things like that. Email marketing is also very important, because when you get the email of your soon-to-be customers or your existing customers, you need to feed them with right information that would enhance their lives so that they can always come back to buy from you. And finally, you need to do the analytics. You need to check how your progress is, what each platform is telling you about. I have a video that I want to quickly play. I hope you can hear it. Please let me know. So this, we are now going to the breakdown of each of these platforms, which is where the summary of introduction into digital marketing is going to be climaxed today.
Director, I don't think we can hear. Or at least I can't hear.
Sorry, you can't hear it.
No, I can't hear. I can't hear it.
Oh, can you hear the video?
No, we
No.
can't hear.
Oh,
No, we can't. No, we
oh
can't.
my. I thought you could though.
No, ma.
Okay, let me play this again. Let me just check. Maybe because it's on screen share. Can you hear it?
No, we can't hear, ma.
No, we
Oh,
can't. Still the same thing.
okay. Oh, and it played the other time. Oh my. Let me see if oh, let me see if output speakers in the system. I just tweaked something on my system. Let me see if that works.
Why your business needs SEO.
Yeah, now we can hear. But it's breaking.
Okay, but it's better, right? So I'm going to
Yeah.
start all over again. I'm going to put on screen show and slideshow. Okay.
Director, it's not sounding well.
Okay. So the audio is really bad.
Very.
Okay.
Is that just for me or is it like that for everybody?
It's like that for me too.
Okay.
Let me just, it's supposed to be, sorry, let me quickly check for another video. Maybe it's this video, just to be sure.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it any better?
It's the same thing. We can't hear.
What did you say? Is it better?
No.
Okay. Okay, so I may just have to skip the videos. All right. So sorry about that. It was tested. And it worked. Okay, it was supposed to be a summary of, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
All right, great. The intention is to talk about each of these segments of digital marketing. And the first one we are looking at is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization. So what is it about? And for those who filled the form, and I've heard like 2-3 people from the form and back end say SEO is a big deal for me. I want to learn it. I want to know more about it. So the entry level, which is like what I would say is what we'll get from this session. Digital marketing, each line of the business, like we have looked at in that our journey, every of it has professional leg to it. So you've got professionals in content marketing, professionals in paid advertising, in SEOs, but the fundamentals, because they're all integrated, you must know that we must understand at least the foundation and the fundamentals of it to get better. SEO is optimizing your website or your web page to improve visibility and ranking in organic or non-page search engine results. What does that mean? So for every time you are online, maybe if you have a full website, and because website is like the final destination of anything that you put out there, so we'll be using websites a lot, but because you don't have a website doesn't mean you won't apply SEO, because your presence on even on your social media is important. It's still your presence, is like saying you have one page online. It's like you have a blog post online. So assume, because I've taken some classes with some participants where, because you keep saying website, they just assume it doesn't apply to them. No, website is like the biggest house or you have a mansion in a location, but because you have a room in a location doesn't mean you cannot treat it well. You get what I mean? So it can be web page, it can be social media handle, it can be anything. SEO still apply to it. How do you optimize it without necessarily paying, doing paid advertising, but doing the work? So SEO has something. You must be ready to do the work. You must be ready to do the work. From time to time, as many of us that, of course, we've heard that it is whatever you give into data that it will give back to you. So the system has a way it works. And the way it works is it looks for relevant information. People search. So just in case we don't know, of course it's World Wide Web. So the things that check the web is called spiders. The spiders crawl the web using technical language. And when they crawl the web, they look for information. They categorize those information. So that they are arranged and cataloged in such a way. That's what the algorithm does, such a way that it will be easy to search out. So if you use information, for example, we have people in the energy sector here. You use information that is energy related, that is energy informed, that is inundated or endowed with energy. It will categorize you in the energy area. If you infuse information that has to do, let's say you marry Valentine with energy, it would categorize in such an area, such that when people are looking for Valentine information, you can be pulled out for customers to see. However, it is a marriage of Valentine and energy. If it is shoes that you are selling and you have the right information on shoes, you will be cataloged as shoe seller, as a retailer. But you don't want to put too much that does not make sense to the system, because at some point when customers keep finding you and they are leaving, which the language is bounce, they just they come, they look, they get out, they come, they look, they get out. The system is also very intelligent, and it will just assume that the information you are giving is not correct. That's why people don't spend enough time to interact with your content. So while we try to do stuff to make people come to our page, our website, engagement is also tracked. Everything is practically tracked. And in this world of AI, artificial intelligence also measures much more. So we need to do a lot in putting the right things in place. Now, if you check to the right of my screen, these are basic elements that are expected in search engine optimization. When you do your website, there's something we call the title. The title is very, very important. How does it relate to what you are selling? The website itself has a basic description. And when we are doing SEO, we'll talk about that. There's technical optimization, which is what is like when we are building a house. The bricklayer who mounts who mounts the blocks and everything. The people that are building, they need to know what they will do there so that they can put the right structure in place, so that you don't keep changing, because that's why you have a lot of collapse building in situations, because it was built for something else and then developers now change it. That happens a lot with websites. When you're building your website, what do you want to use it to sell? What do you want, the content you want, so that the technical guys, the developers can put the right keywords at the behind the scene. Let's put it like that. And when they put it, it helps the technical optimization of the website. When you have built the website, you now begin to put in content. And so some of the technical optimization is where meta titles, meta description, that thing when you search, the short summary that you see, if you don't describe it right, I'm almost sure, and I would like somebody to give an example here. When you search for something, have you ever relied on that short summary to click further into the website? Can somebody tell us, please, if you've ever relied on the short summary of the search page, of the search engine results page? Let me see. Blessing, are you there? Blessing, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when you search for something and it brings on the page where the results come, they call it search engine results page, just like this one. Have you ever relied on that short summary to know if you will click on the page or not?
No, I don't. I open it to reach
You just
through.
open it straight. Wow.
Yes, to reach through before.
Okay. I don't know. Has anybody had that experience? Grace, I'm not sure you've been able to introduce yourself. You came in a bit late. Grace.
Morning, ma.
Okay.
Yes, I read the description. I don't open the page most of the
Okay.
times.
All right. Thank you. So Grace, how are you doing? Can you quickly introduce yourself?
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I came in late. I used the link on the mail, so I thought that was the one we're using. My name is Grace. I'm from Stratton, so that's
All
all.
right. Are you also in business development?
No, I'm in procurement.
All right, great. Nice to have you. And then who's Love? Hello, Love. Someone is Love here. Can you introduce yourself? And then Stratagem Energy. Who's that? So that we can call the right names. I'd like to know who that is. If you had introduced yourself before, that's fine. Just to know that people that are still here. Who's using the name Love and who's using the name Stratagem Energy? Very quickly, please.
Morning.
Good morning.
My name is Malik.
Your name is Wale. Okay.
Malik.
Okay. And what department are you?
My name is Malik.
Oh, Malik. Okay. What department are you?
Logistics, and I run the social media account.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Okay. Nice to have you here, Malik. And just one more person, Love. Can you unmute and just say hello? Okay. We will go on since we've not been able to talk to Love. But yes, thanks, Grace. And I also saw that from Itohan saying that we read. Most people do read. And that description alone is part of the optimization. That section is called the meta description. You don't just put it by yourself. It's a back-end thing, sort of, and you have access to it. Those are part of the details that the spider algorithm, everything will check in putting you in the right place. So if you don't put the right keywords, which you research to put on your site, you will keep likely lose a lot of potential customers that can translate to a lot. So part of the things we will do in class is just from this session is to take a look, sort of take an audit of what we have. Is our headline, is it correct? Metadata is a big deal for SEOs. So all those things, we can go back and check for competition as well, because if you don't, you will not know. There are tools in which people use to find those things. For search engine optimization, we have key things under search engine optimization. You have keyword research. You cannot do without checking keywords. Keywords that are related to your industry, keywords that are important to the product you sell. There are platforms that you use in searching the keywords. And when we are taking our SEO class, we will do some keyword research so that we will know this is the bucket. And from time to time, maybe every 6 months, you check again, because you don't assume that these are right keywords. There are keyword planners that are used for such things when you want to run and when you want to do your communication and your campaign. There's on-page optimization. And on-page optimization is what you do by yourself as the website owner or the social media owner, what you can use to infuse in your content. So like we did look at your URL, your meta descriptions, your things like that. You as a person that is putting the content on your page should be able to put the right information so that it is properly identified during search. That's what on-page optimization is about. Off-page optimizations are what you do with third party, so bloggers, CNN, if you have, or Arise, or publicity that you get from other locations that brings people into your site. So when you pay, or you even do there's something called guest blogging or link exchange, you can reach out to people. Oh, can I feature your write-up on my page? And then you help me feature my write-up on your page. The way people get tagged, those are external links. Nowadays, gone are the days when people could just take content and just publish. Now, people have been fought for, especially professionals, such that you must give credit to the owner of the content. Now, when you see people tagged in a content, that's like an off-page optimization, because with that alone, you get tagged. When you get tagged, they will come to your location and people will be able to find you and buy from you. Recently, there was an experience. I don't know if any of you saw during the Valentine's season, Tenny gifted somebody something. Did anybody see that? Can somebody tell us about that? Hello? Tenny, the artist. Are we here? Can somebody tell us, did anybody see what Tenny did during the Valentine's season? People are very serious. Fantastic. Anyway, Tenny, I think, gifted a mother. So I think most people would have gone for younger people, but I think she gifted a mother, and she does accessories. She does stuff. She was singing her song. She went to give Valentine gifts, but it didn't end there. She helped her to promote our jewelries and our accessories. She said, "Oh, do you have Instagram account?" The woman's kids are the ones that recorded her singing Tenny's song. But between that time and the time that Tenny talked about her, I think the followers had shot up, and it's already clear that people were making requests. That is off-page optimization. Take another example. When they did the inauguration, the person that did the hat that the wife of the president of America was wearing, that hat alone got so much visibility that a lot of people had to invite him to shows, to talks. It was tagged, which we had talked about earlier. It is called earned media. She didn't have to mention his name, but people know the source. So they kept tagging him. And between that time and between inauguration and maybe 2 weeks later or something, because I stumbled on one of his interviews, it has been massive publicity for him. So off-page optimization is what you do outside of your own controlled platform. And then technical optimization, I explained it earlier, is what you do in building in the back, let's say the back end proper. So anything that would make your mobile load properly, your page load properly, that will help you to be properly indexed, that would, the speed, the friendliness, everything, which is usually a developer's job, except nowadays, there's a lot of do-it-yourself. AI is also helping, but you have to have real back-end access before you can do that, so that you don't scatter the websites completely. That is what a lot that has to do with optimization. Then user experience. You must create user experience that is strong and relevant. Okay, SEO also has a lot to do with content, because you can't optimize and nothing. You've got to have content. That's when you can then optimize the content. And you'll be looking at videos, infographics, blogs, and so many other things that you want to, as long as they are relevant to the customer, they must be engaging content that will make customers want to come back for your information. Analytics and local SEO, all these are relevant things when we talk about SEOs. What does SEO do? It helps you in your website being easily searchable. It also ranks. So search engine optimization is about ranking. When you search, the page that comes up, the search engine result page, the thing that puts one website above the other is the ranking. And there are so many parameters that are considered. The joke is on a lot of people that many people don't check page 2 or page 3 of a search engine result page. So everybody is struggling to be on page 1 of search engine result page. So it's so important. SEO is so important, even when you will pay. This video will make available when we share the content. Search engine marketing, which is pay-per-click, is like the paid version of SEO. So what happens with SEO? SEO takes a while to catch up, because the system has to recognize you as an authority. They have to recognize you that your content is really true. So it could take as much as 6 months and more. But when it comes to pay-per-click, you want instant results. So you are ready to pay for every time customers search for you. And it's a fair deal. We talked about Temu. Temu, many people would not have known about Temu if they were not running aggressive campaign. If they were just bent on using SEOs to compete with a Jumia or a Konga, as local as they are, they may not catch up. So they've had to do a lot of push on their advertising. That is what pay-per-click does. It brings you to the page. So on this side, when you do your search engine result page, when you search for something, you will see the page side. Those are the ones that they're running a PPC. We call them pay-per-click, PPC campaign. Whereas the ones under, they are more or less on SEOs. They are more or less on organic results. So you can check which are the ones that are strong on pay-per-click, which ones are the ones that are not strong. Because we can't see the videos, I will just skip and move on. Are we together? Hello? Been
Yes,
doing a lot
Maria.
of talking. All right, thank you. So
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are together.
Thank you so much. So what's important when it comes to pay-per-click? What's important? Keyword research. You must do, because as you're advertising, as you're promoting, other people too are promoting. People are bidding for your keywords. So we should not assume that because we have, as you have 5 million to spend, somebody's already spending 50 million on this in the same sector, because they want to drown any competition. Anybody that is running an e-commerce campaign in the peak of, let's say, December last year, Temu, there's no way that Temu would have allowed them to breathe, you know. They had the budget, they had everything. So at times you need to know what is happening in your landscape, so that the budget you had targeted may not fulfill what you want to do at the point. All that research is very important. You do the bid management, you do ad auction, you do a lot when it comes to PPC, but it can deliver your results very quickly, because within a short period, you can track what is coming in. There are some languages that are very important generally in digital space. There's click-through rates, which is CTR. When you put a link on an ad, when people click it, you can track it in your analytics and say, who are the people that clicked through this link? You can check your return on advertising spend. You can check a lot of things, but a lot of details is involved. For PPC, you can retarget the people that have bought before, which happens a lot when you are talking about e-commerce. You use your analytics appropriately. These are some of the platforms for PPC. There is, of course, Google Ads. There's the ad network. There's something they call the digital ad networks. That's like third parties coming together. So beyond Google Ads, they run on different platforms. You can run your campaign on those platforms. That's like a summary of what PPC is. The next is social media marketing, and this is like the most decentralized or the fragmented one. What does it do? Everybody's got access. You are able to see and engage with social media or whatever level you want it to be. I'm not playing that video. So social media platforms, what does it do? We know now the biggest in town is what? Please, which is the strongest social media platform in town right now? Can somebody tell us?
I'll say TikTok or Instagram.
Yes, so thank you. TikTok or Instagram. Depending on your audience, though, in the energy industry, it's a B2B. It's mainly a B2B. You need to know where to find them. You need to know how to target and engage with the audience. But interestingly, as strong and as youthful as TikTok is, we know a lot of let me just use senior citizens, millennials and Gen X. They are moving to TikTok. So that's not to say that we cannot find our potential customers there. The only thing that we must do, is to package the information in such a way that it will be appealing to them on that platform. You can't go with too much serious information to TikTok, even if you find your potential clients there. However, if one does not have the energy to create customized videos that can appeal to the business class on TikTok, then we stick with the platforms that we know we can find them and stick with the serious information, but deliver it in a proper way. The strongest right now with videos, like we said, is TikTok. And Instagram. But Twitter is still very strong with shorts. People go viral very easily, have gone viral very easily on Twitter. And everybody is just contesting. So it's to find your space and try to run with it. Every of the platforms have their unique features and their audience. So what works for you? How do you create content that is relevant? Content creation is so important, and there are tools that people use, even on just the mobile, without necessarily going to Canva or some other tools. Nowadays, you can almost start and finish your videos on your mobile phone. using editing tools and things like that. So how people, you can jump on a trend to create the content, push it out there, and before you know it, it gets a lot of impression views that can deliver results, or that can lead to a second level of customer engagement. Audience targeting is a big deal in social media, because if you don't target right, especially when you want to advertise, if you don't target right, you'll just be shooting in the dark. And so it's very important. That's why we're part of this learning session will be how to run ads, at the very least on social media, because social media is the one that allows you to run with Naira. Google Ads is another thing, but you can't run it with Naira card or something. So we will demonstrate it, even if you will not eventually initiate the campaign. It's part of what you'll be learning, how to create, how to find the segments, what to look out for in running campaigns. Then influencer marketing and community management. So for social media, which is where a lot of influencers are, you can engage them. They can create awareness for you. They become content itself that you even promote. And community is a big deal now. Many are thriving with community. So you cannot have a social media platform that is active and not be real-time engaging with your audience. It's very important. Many a times, people drop information, people drop messages, comments on social media platforms for organizations. 1 week, they have not responded. Yes, it might be that you are very busy, but you find out that this can be very discouraging to customers coming back or engaging. So community management is part of how to strengthen conversations with customers. It's very, very important to put an eye. The good thing now is Meta has done it in such a way that you can almost see all your conversations from one platform, Meta Business Suite. If you're going to be managing your Instagram, Facebook, and whatever, once you have the dashboard open, you can see any comments either directly from Instagram or your DMs or something. So it's possible to manage it as much as quickly, as real time as possible. Not that you'll be going to Instagram message individually, Facebook messages, then Facebook comments, Instagram comments. You don't have to do that anymore. They've made the platform smarter, that at the back end of Meta Business Suite, at least at the very least, you can attend to a lot of engagements through one dashboard. That is helping. If it is on other platforms, you can also see the people that tag you, the people how the conversation is going, and how you can be relevant and keep in the customer's face. For social media also, there's something we say that about social listening. What's happening? Who's mentioning you? What's a trend? How are people jumping on it? What can you do to jump on it so that you are seen as relevant to your customers? It's very important to be seen as contemporary, to be seen as relevant, to be seen as understanding and feeling the pulse of the consumer, rather than just sticking to what we've always known. So we can use monitoring and listening tools to know what is happening and create content that will align with the trends in the industry without losing ourselves. So who can tell me the ones that I've talked about so far before I move on to the next one? So I know that we are together. What are the platforms I've talked about so far? I'm time conscious. We have about 30 minutes more to finish today's class. What are the platforms I've talked about before I go on? Ahmed, Andrew, Blessing, Grace, Favor, Love,
You've talked about the
Ali.
PayPal click,
Okay.
email marketing, and you talked about different social platform to where we could generate our leads from.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Yeah, Grace, you want to say something? Grace, you want to say something? You are muted just now.
Oh, sorry, it was a mistake. But you did talk about search engine marketing and the social media marketing and search engine optimization.
Okay, thank you. So email marketing is another channel. It's one of the yes, okay, that we use. And what does email marketing do? Email marketing is a big deal. No matter what, the beauty about email marketing is not like social media marketing and the other ones that the information, before you know it, it has disappeared. It has disappeared. It's sitting nice and comfy in your email, in your inbox. So it is a strong, it is still seen as a strong conversion opportunity, especially when people have given you willingly their email. So you have access to them. When you pass information to them through their emails, even if they don't check immediately, they can come back in 2 weeks. So the way we track emails, the success rate of an email is open rates within the first 2 weeks. Let's say that tells you that how well, and if you have a 10% open rate of your email, depending on the size of your mailing, the mailing list, it's a success. I can tell you. I'm not talking about maybe school or schools that is a closed this thing, but you go for social events, you have target audience, you have an email list of people who have responded to you in the past. Let's say you have 1,000 people. And if 100 people open your emails, or it is a good list, it is a good open rate. Because from there, they can always come back to buy. Then when you have a click-through rate. So email marketing is still very strong. They can't stop from receiving, they can opt out, they can unsubscribe, but they are not like social media that you see them today, you may not see them anymore. Some people may not even remember their emails, they subscribe to you until one day they need something from you. So it's quite versatile, it's cost effective. There are so many email marketing service providers that all you need to do is subscribe. You don't have to pay for the platform unless you want to increase your email mailing, the volume of people you can email at once. Sorry. So what's the big deal in email marketing? Of course, the subject line is very important. Many people bounce from emails when the subject is not very interesting. The content. Call to action is also something. And we'll be looking at the platform, email marketing platform. We'll be taking that in the course of in the next 3 weeks. Design the layouts. Of course, you have access to better layouts when you're using a paid version. But even with a free version, you can get good design layouts. Then mobile optimizations, all those are there. What do you use in tracking? I have mentioned it: open rates, click-through rates, conversion rates, bounce rates, unsubscribe rates. Open rate is them even opening the email at all. It is tracked. The analytics tells you. The click-through rates, the call to action, which is a button that is usually in email marketing list, when you put it there, it's supposed to you're supposed to infuse a link to it. So when people now click on that link, it means that they have demonstrated their level of interest, another level of interest. So you can also track the people that did the click-through rates. which helps you to further narrow down the people that are interested. So when they do not now buy, you can actually target your next email to say, oh, we noticed that but you've not finalized you have a lot of customer relationship management platforms like HubSpot and all that helps you to customize information. And you can pick it up independently and just look through those emails, sieve them out, specifically write to them and saying that, oh, I'm giving you this offer between this period and this period, since we noticed that you are interested. That offer alone can convert them. Conversion rate is if they take the decision you want them, oh, download this, buy this, use this code. You can track all those people through the matrix. And the bounce rate, the people that just don't want to see anything, the ones that did not deliver, the emails that did not deliver, in this context, that is the bounce rate for email marketing. That means the email is not correct or you made an error. Unsubscribe are these people that let out, that just get out. Content marketing is the next one. It's all around content. How do you create content? What type of content? How relevant is it? We will focus a lot on that when we are talking about content marketing, but there is a variety of content. So for those who have websites, there's blogs, and you can create a blog by yourself. So many people are independently creating blogs, either for their organizations or for themselves. Create blogs, write articles. Medium is a platform that you can use in writing articles for yourself. But for organizations, ensure the beauty about blogs, and people must know this, is you don't get to change your website content regularly. But if you have a blog, it helps you to keep updating information on your website from time to time. Blogs are in quotes, the most dynamic aspects of a website. So we need to keep it active. If you don't have a blog on a website, that means the information on your website can be same for the next 1 year or 2 years, because really you are not changing the business you are doing. You are not changing the information you have. You are only looking for more customers. So for websites that if you have any website that you don't have a blog attached to it, please let them create a blog to the website. That gives you an opportunity to keep feeding information to your website from time to time. And that way, the system, the algorithm will read that this website is currently being updated, sort of, because you are putting up more information. However, if you don't have it, you just leave the website like that. The system will just assume this thing has been built and it has been forgotten about. So that's very important. And I would like us to take it away from class today. Please, let's check our website. If we have blogs and we have not been encouraging others to write to it, let's encourage ourselves. If you have team members, to write articles, to come up with stuff and upload and update, it helps the strength of the website. Creating videos, of course, content, YouTube is a big deal now. Create videos. If you don't create it for YouTube, you can create it for your social media. How-tos, tips, this, that. Even fun videos around. People they don't only want to see serious things. There are some nice times that you can always show team bonding, friendliness, even within a serious space. Infographics, ebooks and white papers are like the most seniorest, in quotes, if I can use that word, version of content. White papers, they're like what you go and deliver in World Economic Forums. People want to be able to refer to it. So if you can do that, you can always be a good source of quality information to others. Podcasts, not only Honest Bunch, but you can always create podcasts that would be relevant. Social media posts, and so on. What are the key things to note about content marketing? Of course, consistency, visual appeal, SEO, we talked about that. The audience, the people you are talking to, your narrative, the way you come up with your information, and you can also repurpose content. So there's something you call repurposing content. when it comes to content, there's something we say, there's evergreen content and then there's topical content. Evergreen, the sun will always rise in the morning and set in the evening. Inspiration quotes will always be evergreen. But how do you say it? Maybe you have created such content like 3 years ago. It's all around energy. Let's say energy content is still there. But you want a situation where you want to recraft that information. You can translate your blogs into videos. You can interpret your blog or your videos into infographics. Those are all repurposing content. And it happens a lot with academic institutes. And for those who have had the opportunity to create content a lot. Influencer marketing, of course, there are different sizes and levels of market influencers. They have an impact. Many of them have helped brands to grow a lot, not only for dark humor, but even positive impact on brands. Some have huge, humongous followers and some very little, but they have impact, especially on Twitter. You call them nano influencers. They have a specific space, but that space, they own it, like sports. Let's live lifestyle, but like sports, like tech, like fashion, some people are just known and they know that their word is big before they translate into becoming much bigger than before. The benefits, it has a way, of course, it will always be relevant to consumers. I'm trying to quickly round up now because we will still do a lot with this in our individual classes. I am conscious of our 20 minutes more time on this session. So artificial intelligence, I'll just talk a little about artificial intelligence because we cannot talk digital marketing in today's age without AI. And this involves, computers having the ability to process decisions, almost like humans. They can pick information. We've seen where when you, our bank started it, when they say, I think Zenith Bank, the AI version is Ziva or something, Ziva. You have this one. So it's like a human being interacting with you, but it is computer generated. And because they've learned machine learning, they've done a lot of learning on how repetitive, almost like saying frequently asked questions. Then you feed it into the system. In this whole way, this is this bucket of questions that people would still come back and ask. So instead of me answering as an individual and using all that time, let the system help. And that's how all this are created. However, it's very important to know that the impact will always be fine-tuned by humans. Impact will always be fine-tuned by humans. For a lot of us that have become professionals in using ChatGPT or DeepSeek, we know that it is the prompts that we give it, that it will feed us back information with. So AI has come to stay, but we still have work to do in using the tools in using the tools so that we get the best of information from it. What does AI do for us? Of course, it helps our efficiency, productivity. It helps us with insights. It helps us with the easiest ways, sort of the efficiency, the easiest way to get things done. But you will still be the one to do it. It's not going to do it for you. And you can personalize your experience. So AI cannot take over humans, certainly, in many aspects. And this is for us to just remember, AI, yes, but it cannot be as creative as humans, no matter what. It cannot be as creative. It is effective, but it cannot be as creative. It is efficient, but it would need humans to train it. So it's a tool. They need direction to deliver the best goals. You will set your goals, then you fine-tune the tool to answer you the way you want it. You're the one that knows your local, like we say, ethnography. You're the one that knows your local nuances, you know. AI tools, unless they don't get trained to understand those terminologies, they may not understand it. So you will have to infuse the nuances into the information that it feeds you. That's very important. AI tools have access to digital data and they are all connected. And you need, like I have said over and over, you need to feed them. Now, we've been able to summarize different areas of digital marketing. And in the next 3 Saturdays, we'll be going deep into each area. I mean, most of the areas, not everything, but key areas that affect our business. For any time we want to do campaigns or communication, SMART objectives must always be in mind. This is very important. We must have an idea of where we are going, what we want to achieve. And so just like we had said today, what's the area of interest for a lot of us? We've said SEO. For some of us, how do I get more sales from digital platforms? How do I utilize it? So that's like an objective. Then we need to fine tune it so that we know that within this period, by the time I'm finishing, what I would have done that will make me a better person. Audience research is a very important aspect of digital marketing. And because the audience is the eventual recipient of our platforms, of any communication we are doing. So digital marketing, your strategy cannot be without audience research. And I'm going to talk slightly more about this. Your audience research, of course, helps you to overcome obstacles, develop content, identify channels, and unearth their needs. How do your consumers think? How do they reason? How well? How do they engage? Where do they engage? Where are they present? Audience research can be done through social listening, the tools. You see what interests them, the filters, the conversations, you can pick from there. When we say audience listening, we are looking at posts, especially those who are like authorities, influencers. What kind of conversations? How are they directing their conversations? So for example, all industries in today's age, they are talking sustainability. I'm not talking about individuals now. So how do you tap into the sustainability conversation? How do you make yourself relevant in the space of your audience that they will see that you are also intellectually advanced? We will not just be saying, yes, this is what we do, this is what we do, but we need to weave our information around what is important to our audience. Sustainability, diversity, climate change, things like that. If that is what is interesting to your audience, it's very important to get to that point of knowing what your audience is of interest to them, and you pick information from the different platforms that they also visit so that you can tailor your content to meet them. You can also check what your competition is doing. You can also check what your competition is doing so that you create a persona that works for them. What's the benefits of audience listening? Of course, you can track that what people are listening to from different platforms. You can track your competition, like I said. You can develop new ideas, messaging ideas that will be relevant. Then understand what motivates your audience and adapt your product and service to it. So how does energy speak to, for example, let me just use Valentine. Valentine is a global conversation. Women, March is a big time for Women International Day, Mother's Day. How do we string energy with women? It was very, it was a different thing for me. It amused me a lot to see that NNPC was going to retail station to celebrate Valentine. It had not happened in a long time that I know. But it is relevant for the now, especially having seen that people did a video that NNPC fuel does not last as long as Dangote fuel. They are beginning to have negative publicity. So you will not sit and relax and assume that consumers are still the same. They are getting fed with information daily, daily, daily. By no means. So you may not have done something wrong, but you have to keep being relevant in their faces. And the way digital platform is nowadays is that you can do something in a small place, but you will magnify it through digital platform. So everybody would think that you have been in 500 million place at the same time. It is very relevant to show that you understand what your brand and your audience is. Where do you use audience listening? How? These are some audience listening tools that you can get familiar with. If you can do a screenshot, if you want to, some of them are paid platforms, some of them are free platforms, but you can do audience listening on these platforms. Market research is also very, very important in helping you to create what's relevant to customers, and how you credible source. So Nielsen, all those things, if you can get, there are some statisticians, depending on how deep and how far you want to go. There are e-platforms. At times you can commission some people to do the research, but nowadays you can keep checking and seeing what is going on, so that you know that you are picking information. You can do surveys. You can create survey links and get feedback from your audience. That's important, so that you know that you have authentic data from your potential or your existing customers. Data is king now. There's nothing you can do without data. And one of the strongest for data for surveys is SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey is a platform that is used for surveys. You can also check behavioral analytics. What does that do? How are people searching? How are they involved in their everyday activity? Ethnographic research also involves you checking what's culturally relevant to your users, observing the environment. If you go to a market that is religiously sensitive and you are not aware and you just do the way you want, it may put brands off. All you'll be told is that you are not sensitive. You'll be told that you are not sensitive at that point. So as brands, as communication people, we must be careful that you may not be saying anything wrong, but your level of sensitivity may work against you at every point, which is very, very important in consumer feedback. Imagine if you wanted to run a campaign during the period where, I think it was Mohbad, when Mohbad died. I mean, whatever campaign you were running, you will get on the wrong side of people, because the internet was almost shut down that period. All people were interested in talking about was Mohbad's death. So even if you had planned your campaign, the best thing was to put it on pause for that period. Let the thing calm down in their on consumers, so that they will come back and have time for you and listen to you. It's the same energy that they are using to go back and forth on people. That's sensitivity in the digital space. You can check what your competition is doing. It's important to always check. Establish how you want to do your research. And that way you will be able to know what is your competitive strength. What's their strategy? How are they speaking to the audience, either locally or internationally? What's their followership? What are they doing right? There's no, like they say, and I've said it before, there's really nothing new. It's how you say it. So if they have said something and it really caught up, how can you say it in a different way that it will belong to you? and you too, you can push that narrative. That's not the only thing you will say, but you can pick from what your competition has done and how they reach the audience, how they engage the audience properly. And also, let's remember that nowadays, competition is not just the direct competition in our industry. Who is leading? There are a lot of indirect competition. We can pick from them, take learnings, and use it to create a strategy that works for ourselves. So you can use, for research, social media metrics, you can use content audits, and you can use search for your to enable your information. Another thing is, what is the trend? Industry trend. You can do a research and find out what's the industry trend. So let's give an example. How for a long time, I will use the dairy farm because of my previous experience. The dairy market, that's milk. For a very long time, brands had moved to sachets or small packs, small Tetra packs from milk, and they were selling powdered milk in small sachets. But the dominant brand in the market did not move for a long time until very recently when they moved into Tetra Pak. So it tells you when brands begin to move in a particular direction, maybe because you don't have the capacity yet or something, but you must understand that they are beginning to do it like this. Although you don't jump there because everybody is jumping there, but you need to find out, are people buying? Are people interested? Once people are beginning to show interest in your industry, it's high time you bring it up and think of investing in it. The biggest example here is Nokia, and this is some years ago, but a lot of us, in case we are not aware, we can look for it. It became the popular saying about Nokia, why they had to shut down. They said we did nothing wrong, but we still lost. Everybody was beginning to move to smartphone. They did not move. They thought because of Bemi Padawan Romi 3310 and so on, that they've always had as market leaders, market leaders. They just thought that they were the market leaders. They were still selling, but they were removing. Market was going away from them little by little, little by little. So we don't want to be too full of ourselves to understudy the market, because you may be doing something well, but in the wrong direction, because the audience is always, always moving. So check your market trends, see how packaging is done, conversation is done, engagement is done, and package in a way that you will still be relevant for the audience that is coming. Factors to consider: disruptions in technology, advancements, shifting interests, influencers. One influencer start talking about something, and I'm not talking about social influencers alone. People that are known as authorities in this industry, once they start talking about a particular thing, it's important to listen and pick information that is relevant for you from there. Don't let the industry move way ahead of you before you catch up. We should be trend setters if possible. Okay. Sources of industry trends. These are some of the sources that you can get for your industry's trend. Global information, publications, technology publications, thought leaders, when they begin to talk about something. That's why when events happen, you see people, conferences. That's why it's important to go for conferences, or subscribe to conferences, subscribe to newsletters that are relevant to your space, because it always helps. Now I'm rounding up. Buyer persona. There's nothing we do that we will not be talking about the persona, the person we want to talk to, or the group of people we want to talk to. And the buyer persona is a semi-fictional representation of your ideal customer. based on market research, which we have talked about, and real data about your existing customers. So you must develop a buyer persona that will enable you to tailor your language as well as your sales and marketing messages to attract the individuals. So you don't reduce, so that you reduce wastage and all your efforts can translate to great results. This is an example of a buyer persona. It's just, is like we said, it's like a fictitious, it's a fictional representation, but at times you can decide to pick one person and use the person. Now, can we do a screenshot of this? I would like you to populate this. I will send it to you. We'll send this to you through someone will reach out. That's Juliet. We will send it. We want you to populate this. Have a proper definition of who your buyer is. Who is he? What's his title? What will he do? It can be one of your current customer, one of your it's always good to use one of your top customers, or on the average, the one that represents most of who your customer is. Put a definition to what they do, how their life is tailored, so that by the time you want to start creating content, when we want to talk about content creation from next week, we can pick any of these, give them a name: Bola, Sukomi, Trump, Emeka. You must put a name to it so that we can always say, okay, for example, Emeka, once we mention Emeka, we already know who we are talking about and what makes up their life. That is going to help us in creating content that will be relevant for the next few classes. On this note, I think I am done with my class for today. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions, please, and any input? So if you don't have questions, please make an input before we call it a day. Hello.
Hello, good.
Hi, Ahmed.
Yes, thank you for the nice presentation. For the previous slide you just shared, the buyer personal assignment,
Yes,
is it just for a buyer or several buyers?
So you need to create different, especially when you offer different services. You understand? So so you can create buyer persona for this product, another buyer persona for this product, another buyer persona for this, but one should be able to represent a particular product or service. Let me put it like that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay, it's clear.
So you can have 3 different buyer persona, but it's for different categories. That's what it should be. Any other question?
That'll be all for now.
All right, thank you. Who can tell me what they picked for? At least one person should please tell me what they picked from today's class, 1 or 2 people, and we can round up. Ahmed has spoken, so a female would be great. I've not heard Malik's voice. I know that Malik is the one using, if I am correct, is the one using Stratagem Energy. Malik, are you there? Is Malik there? Okay. Grace or Favor, if you can unmute and just give us a quick feedback from today's class, it will be great. Grace, are you there? Favor, are you there? All right. I think I'm going to, can I call Andrew if you are there? Let's have you